Hello and welcome to Reality Check. Hi, I'm Mark Pellegrino, and today I'm going to talk about selfishness. If you think selfishness is a dirty word, I don't blame you. It's gotten a pretty bad rep over the years.
You selfish, entitled princess! Selfish!
But why is that? Selfishness literally means concern with one's own interests. How can that be bad? Okay, the working modern definition adds the word excessive to self-interest, but this still begs the questions. Why is embracing one's own interests a bad thing while abandoning them for someone else's interests a good? Why is the game of interest hot potato the ethical standard? Blame it on religion and science. Yep, you heard me. Religion's a no-brainer, right? If men are fallen beings, then their interests must be fallen too.
The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the inequities of the selfish and the tyranny.
Their distance from God, penchant for disobedience, and desire for worldly things makes them particularly susceptible to sin. You know sin, right? That bad thing you can't help but do because you're you.
I'm a man. Well, nobody's perfect.
Now, the only way to avoid sin and be good, so the preachers tell us, is to subordinate those sinful interests to God's.
10 Hail Marys, 20 Our Fathers.
Okay, but science? Science doesn't claim men are bad. Now, this is true. Men may not be bad in the religious sense, but they are animals.
We are all animals, my lady.
And this is problematic. You see, to the scientists, men are as much a part of natural selection as ants, elephants, and aardvarks. Humans are just another part of the animal kingdom, and like every other creature in the world, they are competing with each other and other animals for finite resources. And that competition ain't pretty. Everyone knows that in the realm of red tooth and claw, no one gains without someone else losing out. Just ask him. Now, the only way to avoid this natural conflict with others, so the scientists tell us, is to subordinate those naturally evil animal interests to others.
By supporting them, I'm doing a good thing, but I'm not happy about it. So, there, a selfless good deed.
Okay, so I guess we've gotten to the bottom of why self-interest is bad. If you're just a poor unfortunate, fallen from grace, or a little beastie doing beastie things, then yourself can't be a very cool thing, and it's probably best if you give it and its interests up for something better like God's or someone else's. Okay, but what if both of those alternatives are false? While it's certainly true that we humans can do bad things and that we share tons of characteristics with animals, we also have something that distinguishes us from them and liberates us from the determinism of God or biology. It's the 400-pound gorilla in the room that neither the religionists nor the scientists want to acknowledge. Our reasoning consciousness. Yep, you see, a rational engagement with the world fundamentally changes how we interact with everything, and as a result changes the nature and meaning of our interests and what we then define as selfishness. In other words, the fact that every human value can only be achieved by a process of thought and a creative interaction with the environment means that life itself is not an immediate challenge, but a long-term project. Now let me repeat that. For human beings, life is not an immediate challenge, but a long-term project. This means that almost all of what really lies in our selfish interests are in the long term. And what one usually defines as sin or animal nature, the source of all that agita about selfishness, is really just a disavowal of this fact. Now, when looked at from this perspective, almost every bad thing that would typically be labeled as selfish actually isn't. Because pretty much everyone who does bad things is going for the short-term gain at the expense of the long-term gain. Taking drugs, cheating your customers, cheating on your spouse, cheating on a test, eating that slice of pie when you're overweight, smoking, lying, promiscuity are all profoundly unselfish acts because they deny the long-term nature of human well-being. And denying the long-term nature of value pursuit in human life is a denial of reality itself. So if you hold yourself as a value, be selfish in the way rational beings must, by always acting for your long-term good and never sacrificing that for any short-term gain. Now, when you're doing that, you're really selfish. And selfish is good. Check.